What's up, everybody? Welcome to HotMakes, right here on HotMakes and the Edge of Tech and Filament Stories. What's up, everybody? I'm Nerdy J, also known as Jim from the Edge of Tech. I am laughing because I said, let's go. I'm talking backstage. We're talking to Courtney, and I popped open my water for the show, went to turn my light on the side, and knocked my can of water all over my desk. And I've never done that before. So I was like scrambling because it went right in my mouth. If weird stuff happens tonight, we're going to find out. I don't know. But we're here to have some fun with you. I'm going to put that right over there for now. And welcome. I have a super pumped up show for you. As you can tell, I'm out of breath because during the countdown, I'm scrambling to clean up. I ran out of the studio, found paper towels, ran back here, and now I'm like out of breath. Awesome show. Everything we talk about HotMakes wise is in a link in the description below. Jump in there. You can find everything. Episode 148 tonight. This is a big one. 148. Caleb will not be with us tonight. He had some stuff going on and couldn't make it tonight, which is totally cool. So hope everything goes good there, Caleb. And what else? We have if you so choose, it's a little damp over here still. If you choose to shoot us something, there is a PayPal link, probably in rolling in the Nightbot, I hope. I should probably check mine to make sure mine's not rolling, because that will be interesting. Real quick. Also, thank you so much for subscribing. I believe we're this close. If we didn't already pass it, we're this close for the threshold to get this particular channel finally monetized. Whew. I'm hurrying real quick here, trying to check timers and all that stuff. I just want to make sure I don't have anything on my channel blown up. I don't. Disable, enable. Perfect. All right, we're good. Sorry. That was like last minute panic when I dumped a can of water all over the world here. What do we got for comments? How you guys doing? Justin, I was purposely 1 minute late just because you said that. Happy birthday, Justin. Happy birthday. I didn't even know it was your birthday. I've not been on social media almost all day. So, happy birthday there. Let's see. Water. Yes, it was definitely water. I was like hurrying. I reached over. I have a little light here that I turn on for the stream, and I just, bam, knocked it over. Oh, love you, man. Courtney says, what's up? Happy birthday. Okay. Use some Oreos to soak it up. I didn't even think of that. Genius. All right. We have an awesome show tonight. Like I said, Caleb won't be with us, but we do have Courtney from the Filament Stories, the one and the only. I'm going to bring her in right away. We have a lot of fun stuff to talk about. I see in the background, she's about ready. I love it. Courtney, how you doing?
Hey, I'm good.
I love it.
If you need to go like change into dry pants, there is nothing worse than having. I've done it. I've done exactly that with. Is that a seltzer? With seltzer.
Yeah, it was. My wife found this at Menards, which is like a home improvement store kind of thing, and it's called Waterloo sparkling. Yeah. I can't even focus on this camera.
My son
apparently. There
has
you go.
an addiction to all things those, and he is really, he loves them. So they're all over the house. But yeah,
what's funny is I dumped it just enough down, and I picked it up where it like went on the mouse and just kind of like in this general area, and then I was like. The panic, the countdown's going. I'm like, what am I? Oh, you got to run to get paper towels. I'll be right back. That too. I was like shaking and blowing out the mouse. Windows are opening up on this side of the screen. But how you been? You haven't been here before. Well, welcome.
No. So I told a story. I actually was a little late getting a video up today to announce that I was going to be here. And I looked because I had found out about you when Clock Spring came on and he was doing the torture toaster. And I looked, and that was episode 49. And this
Wow.
is 148,
Yeah, 100
right?
and
And so I was
100
like,
episodes
that's
ago
like
almost.
100 episodes later. What? And so he was telling me about it. Now, I have to say, I have like one of my favorite things in 3D printing I do in the whole world is I work with him behind the scenes with his models. And I had just started doing that. And he's a very modest guy. So he was sending,
Yeah.
he said, I've got this model. It's kind of interesting. And I'm doing it for this show I'm going to be on. And I'm like, oh, what's this show? And so he told me about you guys. And I was like, wow. And in the meantime, I felt
Yes.
like I had backseat to the coolest model on the planet
It
because
was.
we were testing the torture toaster and determining, I wasn't really determining, but he was determining how torturous it should be, how much failure was okay.
Right,
And so
right.
I just felt like I knew the biggest secret. And so anyway, so I've been a big fan ever since the torture toaster episode.
No, I appreciate that. It was that was such a fun episode. Sven is an amazing dude to work with. We've had him on a couple times, and the torture toaster, we talked to him. We had him on, I think, when we debuted it. And what was super funny about that is like I usually make stuff not to fail. And he's like, I had to purposely make stuff fail or failable this time.
Yeah.
It was fun that he went through that.
Yeah, how much fail is okay. I remember him because I would say, well, it's done this, and I would make so that we've communicated mostly by Discord, but when I have a model complete, I'll set it in front of with my, the ring light, and I will video me taking it off the build plate and showing how it works or doesn't work. So pretty much he sees my hands and that's it, unless he happens to see one of our videos. But yeah, I was saying, it's doing this. Is this what you're looking for or not? But yeah, and he was having to make some calls on it. It's really neat. Now he wanted to be here, but hello from New Zealand, James.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
New Zealand and Denmark.
Oh, I love Denmark.
And then Abby says, how has Courtney not been here before? Yeah, that's what I'm saying. We actually met in person at Remurf
for the first time. It was
so much fun. Yeah,
I was trying to get to you to say hello, but Earth was crazy this past year because I was in the Protopasta booth and I was helping them, which was really fun. And so I would talk to people there, and then I would say, I am going to go and I'm going to see everything. At the end, I didn't even get to see half of it. Yeah. And so you guys were walking around and you were filming and everything. And it just, Joel and I waved across the way. And yeah, I saw Uncle Jesse because he came in when I was grabbing some food. But other than that, yeah, I mean, it was a whirlwind.
Yeah. Well, it was, it's kind of like a lot of those shows, you get caught up like with what you're doing. And a lot of times you don't, especially if you have a booth or in a booth, you don't get to see everything.
Yeah.
Remurf, it was about actually a month ago today, today.
Wow.
And I don't think I saw everything. I was there all weekend. So it was a lot of fun. It was great to meet you in person. And so much fun with the milk duds. That's a story for, maybe later. But I think someone had that on film, which was a lot of fun too.
So that milk duds thing was, and I see, actually, let me quickly say something. Wait, hold on. Oh, JC Productions. What a beautiful story. Hello, Juan Carlos. And he says he's legally blind and he's so happy to know that a fellow 3D printer has a blind individual and their family. And we love, and we'll have to talk about that, but absolutely we love, I mean, I'm a little obsessed with 3D printing, as you all know, but the rest of my family, I have 2 children, a son, a daughter, and a husband who is incredibly helpful behind the scenes. In fact, he's the reason that I look good on camera. I'm like, I will film something, it'll be terrible, and he'll put it together, and I'll say, dang, I don't know how you did that.
Nice. But you gotta have that. You gotta have that.
Yeah. Okay, wait, you had said something. I was saying something about having a booth and going around at Armor. Yeah, really is. It's strange. Having the booth is interesting, but I had a booth and we were wide at the bathrooms, which was great because it turned out to be this big open area. And so people would come around. Yeah. And people actually could come around and hang out behind us. So Ben Pendergast, and if you're on TikTok, he's got like 4.2 million people following him, and he would come over and he's a hoot. I don't know if he's on here, but
Ben is awesome. Yeah.
Guy. So I had like hard candy up on the table, but I had like chocolate and stuff down below. And I brought up 2 bags because we had gone to what is it, Target beforehand. And I was
Yeah.
like, "Vroom," and he was like, "What?" And I'm like, "No, take some, guys. We need calories." And he saw the little thing of Milk Duds and he
Yep.
grabbed one and he was like, "Wait, how many of those do you have?" And I was like, "Oh, we've got more." And so we just went through, we pulled out as many as we could. And
Right.
somebody knew where Joel was. And he said, we're going to go, you know, what is it? Milk Dud Bomb Joel.
Yeah.
And so we were going. And so I grabbed Nathan of Cookie Cad and I grabbed Pooch because they were on the way.
Sure.
And I was
Sure.
like, "Here, guys, take these. Come on." Well, I let go. I turned around. They're walking in the other direction. Pooch is opening his and starting to eat it. And I'm like, "No, we're going to." Anyway, so that's why Pooch had eaten half of his, because they were
Yeah.
like, we didn't understand what was going on. And I was like, and it was really great. So everybody just started dropping little things of Milk Duds in Joel's hands, and he had the best expression on his face, right? It was a very sweet expression that was surprise, and I don't know, it was really cool and happy looking.
It was awesome. He definitely was surprised, and at the end of it, he had a pile of milk dudes in his hand, right? But no. So real quick before we get too much further, if anyone hasn't heard about you or heard of you or seen your content, who are you? What do you do? And that, you know, where can we find you? And we'll do that again at the end, but that's an important thing. So people know who you are.
Yeah. And also I'm really bad at the comments. So if I miss something, guys, just like say it again. Okay.
I will do my best to watch. And if you guys have questions for Courtney, let me know. I'm going to do my best to star them, and we'll come back to questions as soon as we can. But if you have any questions, let us know. And we'll definitely come back to that.
Yes, and I definitely want to read all of Juan Carlos's questions or comments too, because I think that's really important. So my name is Courtney. I love filament, which was sort of an interesting thing. So funny story, starting 3D printing, my husband said we should do this. And I was like, we don't do design, and what would we do? And I didn't know about the repository. So I said, let's not get a 3D printer. They're expensive. And a couple years later, when I realized that 3D printer could be really useful to print things for my daughter who is blind, I was like, we need to get a 3D printer. And that's when I found the repositories, which at that point, not only did I find things interesting for her, I was like, and I want to print that and that and that and that. So that gets really exciting, right? And so then we got the printer, and I was like, what do you mean it prints in only one color? I would not expect, you know, because the toys that we see and they're in many colors. And so that's when I started ordering filament, and my husband was like, I had like 30 spools or something. And he looked at them and he was like, this is ridiculous. They all look the same. And I was like, this is there is no repeat. This is an entire rainbow. What are you, and there's glitter. And so that just really didn't stop. And after a while, I had been thinking about, I'd love to show filament, because I got so frustrated with manufacturers. I mean, there are even some manufacturers, I won't call them out, that they have one picture of their filament and it is in the bag.
Yeah.
In the bag. Open up a spool to show us what it looks like.
It looks so good in your bag. Like,
oh no, I gotta sell them anyway. So I was like, you know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna get these filaments, and I had a lot already, and I said I could do this for a while, and I have an addiction to buying filaments, so I'm sure I'll get more. And so it was a lot of fun, and the goal was to show people who are doing 3D printing this is what this filament looks like, in case you're interested in getting it, and then try to connect people with companies, because I had at that point also had an obsession for browsing the internet to find more. It was like, it's like a little, hunt, seek, and find game, right? When I would find a new company, are they in the US? Can I order from them? Has any, and so that was so fun to find new companies. And so I wanted to, you get your printer and you look on Amazon and the top 5 companies, there's more out there, and there's great filament. So that was how I started. Yeah. No mission other than to tell people about filament. And I guess kind of that's still my mission. I work with companies now because apparently if we talk about a filament, sometimes a lot of people click the link. But I always try to I have a very easy job, right? Years ago, filament was not the same as it is. Today, the majority of filament, sort of understanding what makes a filament print easy is much better understood. Right. And so it's a much easier job. There are a few filaments that I'm like, oh, they're not in print, but I get the filament, I open it up, I print it with default slicer settings, because if I can't print it with standard slicer settings, a
Right.
brand new person won't be able to either.
Sure.
And then I just show it.
Yeah.
And I get to
Well,
pick
and-
fun models. There, that's my story.
Ethan, Marcus says, if you don't, I think he's saying if you don't show them in the bag or don't show them the bag, they may not think it comes with a bag.
That's right.
Love that.
Right.
But
You're gonna make sure
I
there's a
saw
bag.
Sven is in here, and I just wanted to point out we have one of these with us, and this is the biggest
That's
one
a big
I have
one.
done. It still works, everything works, and of course to plug Clock Spring.
right.
Let me get my face
There's
out of
the
there. There you
logo.
go. Little
And
Clock Spring 3D.
HotMakes.
Don't forget, this one actually came with me to Murph last year, so some people signed it all around.
Aw.
And if you haven't seen this before, it's a torture test. You have all sorts of fun overhangs, some different shapes. You have the gears that have to work. Obviously, at this size, it's a little different. And then on this side, you have a whole bunch of slideys that will go up and down. If you're Clarence, I said Clarence like Clarence Thomas. Clarence is good, and this is an evil genius at work. We talked about Clock Spring being
Yes,
an evil
he
genius,
is.
and of course, don't forget the toast
Toast.
has to pop.
Toast has to pop.
And
Yep.
and if you look at the bottom when you're printing this bad boy, all of that has to print individually in little pads until over here until it connects. And that's where it fails the most. That and right here. Yep. So anyways, while you were talking, I was like, I want to grab the biggest one I got.
He
Nice.
is, I think an evil genius is a great way to describe him. Now, he wants to be here. He's going to try to be here, but he is at work. So this is his work day. So I'm in the East Coast, and I think we're 14 hours off. So he and I, like, we do ships passing in the night, right? Hey, how's it going? And he's heading to bed, or I'm heading to bed, or one of us is going to work.
Right.
And so, but he said he would try to get on. He messaged me before the stream, and he said, I'm in meetings. So he wanted to come in. But I do have a story about this morning.
Yeah.
But do you want
do
to tell
it.
that story now?
Let's do it because he's here. We might as well. While he's here. Yeah,
Hey,
he's here.
I didn't see him here. Okay.
Yeah.
So this morning I said, hey, did I mention I'm going to be on HotMakes today? And he was like, no, you didn't. Oh, that's great. And I was like, oh, I've known this. How did I not tell him? And so then I was like, so anyway, remember that torture toaster thing? It didn't sound like this on Discord because it was just words, but just so he knows, this is how I was like, hey, do you remember that torture toaster? So anyway, I've been meaning to ask you, but it's probably too late. I was wondering if we could do something fun. And then he said, there's still time. And that's how I hear there's still time. And so we started to just crazy talk. Now he was running into bedtime, right? And I had to run off to take my children to school, but I would have been back. So we had to do something small. So we were like, what can we do? And I was like, maybe something. And we ended up on a vehicle. There he is. Hi. He's between meetings. Okay. I'm talking all about you. It's all good things. When you're at the meeting, I'll say the bad things. Yeah, and so we came up with something that would move, and a small vehicle would be fine. And I mean, you guys are HotMakes, right? So a fire truck sounds like fun because it's got wheels. And then he was like, what could move on the fire truck? The ladder. What about the ladder? So he, in like 0 time flat, had this, right? I mean, here, wait, let me go over here.
Yeah.
Let me get to, right, let's get, hold on. I got some iterations here. Okay, so he had this thing in like no time flat, and it prints like this, right?
Yeah.
And so it's got the wheels and done. And so here's the shape, and we've got the wheels, and now this is the base. And then
I love it. He uses that same style wheels on the van again. The van. I love that. And a lot of the other vehicles. But.
No, I know. I love that too. Now, I will say, if you guys, because we're going to get this model up. He may be uploading it now. It does, because it doesn't have an axle in it. So when you try to roll, it's actually taking the whole wheel and pushing it forward. If you put like a drop of oil, if you put like a drop of oil in here, these things, they will spin really well, right? They'll spin really well. Right. So I just put a little drop of oil in there. So in any case, that was his version 1. And like 15 minutes later, where's version 2 that you had?
15 minutes.
No, I'm serious.
Literally 15 minutes later.
Version 2, he had already come up. Now remember, this thing prints on. I have to brag about him. I can't do this. It's backwards motion, right? So he had come up with the ladder here. And
Nice.
again, so it prints
Love
on
it.
the side. It had to be sort of a chunky ladder because you've got to have it print successfully, right? And so that worked. But then how do you constrain the ladder so that it would, and then right at the end, we decided, I'm going to go back here for me. Right at the end, we decided that as really fun as a ladder that was this tall was, it really was just overpowering a thing. So he had a couple more modifications that he did. And let me show this one. Right. And he got it. Now here is, I'm going to be terrible at this. Look at that. There is the HotMakes logo. Can you see that? HotMakes.
Love
right?
it.
And then he's got his logo right there. And then he put, how can I do this? Filament Stories on the back. I cannot do this left right thing.
Nice. I love that.
So he got all of those in. Plus, some things that make it look like a fire truck, right? And then the very last thing that was genius was like, how can you get this thing to stand up? And I was sending him pictures because I haven't done this for long, right? Because it folds.
Sure.
It folds down like that. So it's actually a nice little fold up.
Man,
but
I love that.
He came up with a kickstand. Look at this, guys. It's right here. It stands up. Little kickstand. Look at that. And then it's hard to see. A little kickstand. And then, all right, hold on. And I dropped my kickstand. Hold on. I cannot look at this. Okay, no, hold on. I've just got to do this. Hold 1 second. I'll get it. Yeah. Oh, kickstand right there. See a little kickstand?
Yep.
And then, and then it just holds. Okay. I cannot do this. This kickstand actually, I gave him feedback. The kickstand is a little bit hitting it. Yeah. So now the kickstand just holds it perfectly in place.
That's awesome.
And then you've got a ladder, right? Look at that. We'll come back here. Look at that. That was so hard to do. Imagine me not being but the kickstand, this little tiny kickstand right there holds it in place. And this was, I think, aside from the fact that there was the print time, his total design time was less than an hour, maybe. I mean, he was just like,
but he said a minute ago, I put it up on the screen. He said deadline driven panic design.
That was it. That was it.
Man.
And so I was like,
it.
how fun is this? Right. I mean, HotMakes, I know it's hot, but this is in case it's too hot.
What's funny is that you chatted us and you're like, hey, I'm out right now. I have something. If you can print it, if you have it only takes a couple hours. If you have a Bamboo printer, when I get home, I'll shoot you the file. And then I think you sent it to the HotMakes account. Caleb forwarded it over to me. I was at work and I'm like, well, my P1P is not printing. I checked the camera that I have on it, make sure there's nothing on the bed. And I just hit print and I said, send it over. And I got one done. And this design is amazing. Let's see if I can get my face out of there. There we go. But what's funny is I didn't remember why I was printing in yellow. I don't remember the last thing I printed that would be yellow, but it was on there. And so we got one done. This thing is so much. My little guy, there goes the kickstand. I think that's an iteration we're working on. But my little guy absolutely loves, he has two of the vans I printed, and he loves fire trucks. So I'm going to put red in. I might even multicolor this, but I'm going to put red in for sure and print this again for him. But
I thought the same thing. So when I got home and had this done, I sent him back. I said the kickstand, because you guys saw it was like the kickstand is a little bit loose, and so mine fell out. On one printer it fell out, and the other printer it didn't. So he was still asleep at that point. So when he woke up, I figured he's going to do an iteration, and then he is going to upload it. I love it. The other thing was, he was like, you can upload it. And I'm like, well, we didn't pick a name. I'm not sure. He may have fallen asleep at the keyboard because he was there and then he was gone. Yeah. And that's happened. I'm like, did you just? And he was like, yeah, I woke up drooling with this keyboard. Like,
there are yellow. I was just told there's yellow fire trucks. By the way, also let's see. I printed mine in yellow too for no reason otherwise on the printer. Amen. I literally, that printer was open. I shot it over there during the day. It was a P1P. I think it did it at 0.2 strength. The default, everything default everything. And then I just let it fly. It was like 2 hours, 27 minutes or something. Yep. On the P1P, and my little guy is gonna love this. I know. Since Sven is here, I don't want to hijack too much, but I just want to point out that but
Do it.
something that this might look familiar to him in quite a large way that I'm working on. It's maybe
Where's mine?
I got parts everywhere.
Where's mine? Mine's right over there. Yeah.
So this has been printed since he's put out this model, and I have not put it together. I have everything laying here. I was going to do a short, and I just haven't put it together yet. So I did blue for inside. If you guys haven't seen this, this is a genius model as well.
Such a neat model.
But he's like, that's so cool. So I did a mix of filaments, a little bit of the PETG Hi-Fi Blue, a little bit of the Galaxy Black, which probably will not show up on this camera, but it's got the
I love the
sparkle.
Galaxy Black.
But all of his stuff, if you haven't checked out Clock Spring's Patreon, you got to do it. It is 100% worth the money. The amount of, all of a sudden you'll be sitting there, right? And you'll get like 15 emails, like uploaded a model, uploaded a model, uploaded a model. Okay, it's like 4 at a time. But yeah, but thank you. This is amazing. I cannot wait to show everybody even closer up. And the HotMakes in there. We definitely appreciate that. Yeah, that's definitely a hot make. I mean, what's hotter than a fire truck? I mean, the fire that it's putting out, I guess.
Get much hotter than that. So yeah, and I did red because I happen to have red in my bamboo too. And that was what we were talking about, because we both have printers, but the fact that we did have the speed of, and actually we both have Vorons, so I'm not sure, but we just jumped to, the bamboo slushy, done. And it was just really easy. But yeah, he and I think are, we are, I don't know if we are good influences on each other or bad, because one person will say, hey, so have you thought about no, really? And then, Well, that's the best type of people to have in your circle, right? I mean, the people that question and push you and come up with these crazy ideas. I mean, we were talking about the torture toaster for a minute. I got a hold of him. I was like, hey, I have this idea. What about a torture test for that, and I was like, anything you want to do. What if it's, I don't know, and he comes up with a toaster, which is, I mean, if you have not seen the episode where he explains that whole process, I believe you said it was 49. Go back and check episode 49. Yeah. 100. Well, I guess 99 or 100 episodes ago, I went and I was just like, it depends on how you count. I'm calling it 100. Yeah, but I do feel a little bad because I very much enjoy. I mean, I did computer science and math. So here I am as hold on, I got to make sure I'm not missing comments. I was a math major in college and I love math. And so the hexagons and all of the math, which to me, his models kind of go in that very interesting, everybody. But yeah, I just enjoy his models so much because they look fun to me. But then I also feel bad because I'm printing them and then I'm like, hey guys, that's Filament Stories and I got a new model and hey, it's another Clock Spring. And so I feel like I'm not pushing you. I'm not trying to, hammer it in. I just really like his stuff. So hopefully I try to have a good variety, but I just adore his stuff. They're so much fun to print. You see, it's like you get those emails and you're like, I've got to print that.
100%. As soon as you see, I just posted in our chats. I posted the link for his Patreon. If you want the best selection for the best money, go there, check that out. I don't even know. I don't even know how much it is anymore. I think it's $8 a month or something.
It's $8 a month. Yeah.
$8 a month, and you get his back designs.
But he does. It doesn't have, like, sometimes he'll have a certain number of models per month. He doesn't actually have and you don't really know what you're going to get, which is part of the fun. He, like, out of the blue, he said, I'm going to do something with EL wire. And I'm like, okay, I need to get some EL wire. He was like, yeah, go do some EL wire. I'm like, okay. And so then he comes up with, and I don't have mine here, and he comes up with these absolutely beautiful things, and you run the EL wire all through them, and they were just out of the blue. I'm sorry, he's probably like, oh my word, they're talking about me again. Hey, Crystal. So yeah, my chat is over here, so this is why I'm waving.
No, you're fine.
But yeah, it's just fun. But there are a lot of people like that. His is very varied. Aside from hexagons, you never really know what you're gonna get.
Yeah, and it's awesome. So that brings me to your channel. You started with just wanting to show people what the filament looks like. Yep. And now I mean, you're exploded. Your channel's huge across all your socials. So if you haven't done it yet, in the description of our video below, there's a whole bunch of there should be the links to find Courtney at Filament Stories. But
Let's see.
you do so much fun stuff like shorts. You're big on the short. I love the shorts.
Shorts.
I think everybody's loving the shorts, right?
Shorts.
I mean, I'm wearing shorts right now. And,
that's right.
But I mean, the channel's awesome. You kind of alluded to a video you just put out.
Yeah.
I know we're 30 minutes in, but do you want to talk about that a little bit? I think that's pretty important. And I think that was something we wanted to hit on.
No, I'll start back by saying that when we were going to do the beginning, I had the good fortune of getting some really good advice. So I'll do that video, but let me give the really good advice. Mihai Stanmeier, Mihai Designs. I had been watching his videos. He was really small at the time. And I was like, this guy's a genius. He's funny. And he started a Patreon, and boom, I was like in his Patreon day one. And he's a very, very kind gentleman. And Mars Gizmo is his brother. So they had their first Patreon call, and it just happened to be a Zoom call, and there were not many of us on there, and Mars Gizmo was on there. So at the end of the call, I have an hour with Mars Gizmo and Mihai giving me advice, and they gave some really good advice. And like shorts was not the direction we were going. If you look at our very first, and they were like, okay, look, you do not need more than a minute about a filament. I'm like, but, and they were like, no, you don't, because people don't have the. And so I was like, shorts. I didn't really know that much. And I was like, what are you talking about? Instagram reels? I don't know. And I had accounts on all of them. And so Mihai was really sweet. And let me tell you, he can be really good at telling you how bad your video sucks in a very kind way. He was, every video he was like, okay. And then afterwards, but he helped us so much because he and Mars Gizmo really understand social media, and we had no idea what we were doing. And so we have a hard time doing long form because everything seems like it moves so slow, because when you do short form content all the time, you have like every second is precious. You get them in, go, right? Okay. Clockspring is getting ready to have a link that he's going to post, I think, in a minute, so people can download the truck. I'm not sure what the name is, because anyway, but yeah. And so we love it. And so we have a hard time with long format, but I really like long format. So we have other things to do. But one of the things I've been wanting to do for a long time was to tell why I got started in 3D printing, which is, as you all now know, because my daughter is blind, but she was not born blind. She is 11 now. And when she was 4, she had a catastrophic failure in her eyes. It would have happened. She doesn't have anything. I didn't explain it on the video because she doesn't have any one thing. She has a collection of things that are malformed in her eyes. And so her eyes were very delicate. They didn't have proper oxygenation in them. Her blood vessels aren't right. So it got an infection, and it caused her retinas to crumple inwards. And the retinas, your light bounces in on that. And we went through several years of trying to save her eyes. And ultimately it didn't work, but we did everything that we could. I think we feel, even though that was not fun for her, she got to be really good at flying, because we had to go to an expert that was in Detroit. And let me tell you, she would, because we would take turns with going with my husband and me, and she would just, it's over here. We do this. This is the place where we stop. And she's funny, but she's quite smart. And I said to her, when you are ready to tell that story, we will tell it. Because as you can imagine, you are sighted and you go blind at 4. What happens, we were told by the therapist, is you don't know that that's not what happens, right? You are 4. You don't know how life is supposed to happen. But when you get old enough to understand what you've lost, she said she's going to be very angry. And that is exactly what happened. And she became clinically depressed, because this is one hell of a thing to accept. But she had to process it. At that point, we actually did put her on some antidepressant, a mild level, because she needed to be able to not be numb, but she needed to be able to work through that. You have to accept it so that you can move on with your life. And she, at that point, would not even refer to herself as blind. She was in complete denial, and wouldn't talk about it. So she is on the other side of that now, and is funny and will joke about things. But, but she's very, very kind and sweet. And but she's smart. So last year I was planning on going to Murph, and what happened, and I alluded to it, but I didn't say why. I said that I was not going to be able to go. I was actually only going one day, and then the flights got all crazy because of all the flight stuff. But there's the Braille Challenge every year, and she's really good at Braille. And she made it into the National Braille Finals. And there are 10 children at each level for the US, Canada, and the UK. She was one of 10 in 3 countries. And she's going to LA to compete at the Braille Institute, which it's a big honor, but it's also really exciting because she's going to be with other blind people who are, at that same level of skill. So she was so excited. And I was like, I cannot miss this because there's a gala at the end. Anyway, so we went and it was really fun. And that's an honor. And this year, it's the same week and as Murph, and she got in again.
Awesome.
Yep. So it's okay. But she was like, Mom, you go to Murph. I know how important Murph is. And really, she only needs one adult to go with her. And so she's excited to see if some of her friends she met last year will also be back. And that is not atypical. If you are in the top in your age range, you may continue to be at the top in your age range. So we're just thrilled for her, and she loves it.
Awesome.
So in any case, so she told me a bit ago, a couple of months ago, because we're bad at long format here, Mom, I'm ready. And I was like, you're ready? And so I was like, okay. So she and I talked about what we wanted to do, but what was even more exciting was she said, Mom, I would like to do a regular, maybe once a month. Could we do a video on something that you can do with 3D printing that would help someone who's blind or visually impaired? And I was like, yes. I was so excited she wanted to do that.
Yes.
So we only showed a few things. Like we showed the Dice Dozer, one of Clock Spring's models here, which is just the cutest thing. I mean, you want to take a game with a child, you don't have to be visually impaired and say, you can put the dice in here and roll. I mean, this is such a overly engineered thing to do. Yeah. But that was fun because when you're blind and you roll the dice, So dice towers or any dice tower is a lot of fun. So I was really proud of her and really excited. The video we're going to put out tomorrow is a hoot. We were waiting for me to be ready to film something, and my husband was standing here behind, and she was here, and he said, do you want to say something? So she starts working with this and the dice tower, and she just goes.
Nice.
There's an entire video,
awesome.
One take. It's so funny, cut. And my husband was like, we're letting that, we're releasing that one.
That's so good. I love it. Well, and it's awesome that, she was ready to put everything out there and talk about it. And I think like you said, it's got to be such a scary, confusing, especially when you're that young, time. And then you realize, like you said, like, this isn't really how it goes. My friends aren't, doing this too. Right. And I can only imagine as parents, in your head, I'm guessing you're thinking like, we have to do everything we can to try to save this, right? Like, this is probably not easy on you guys. And man, I commend you guys for just the whole way you handled it. I know it probably was not easy at some time.
Oh no, it wasn't.
But now that you're going forward, it's so cool to see that she's going to be playing with. You said like a video a month, hopefully.
I think we're going to do a video. What I said to her on the car on the way to school this morning, I said, you know what we should do? We should pick a date so that we don't let this slide by. And then we can pick a topic earlier in the month. And if we have a couple, because she actually had some she wanted to talk about. And we know there's some that are like low hanging fruit, like the dice was the one I wanted to tell first, because that was how I really got connected to Clock Spring, because I sent him a message on Patreon. And I had said, hey, I wanted to tell you the story, and the teachers at her school have been very grateful for it. And the middle school, we were years away from middle school, and she's going to middle school next year. I can't believe it. Said, could we have one? And I was like, heck yeah, I'll go print you out one. And I'll drop it by, even though I don't have any idea who you all were. I dropped them off. But classic thing, right? They had 3D printer at her school and the middle school, but they didn't have anyone who knew enough to use them. So but if I can get in there, I'm gonna get in there and be like, hey, I'll teach y'all.
So here's a good question. Jerry was asking, can she see any light or blurry objects in front of her at all, or is it all is she fully blind?
Yeah, she tells us that the way she tells left from right is that her right eye is completely blind. There's nothing that she can see on the right eye.
Oh,
The
wow.
left eye, and that happened pretty early on. In fact, the specialist that we were going to Detroit to see, he did some, when you're a high-end doctor, you know what the heck you're doing. You can gain information so fast. He
Yeah.
went to do, and he said, okay, so the right eye, she can't see anything in. And we'd been, and we were like, what? But the left eye, she still had residual vision. And he said, we're going to see if we can get some vision back in the right eye, because
Right.
her left eye is absolutely precious to her. And we don't want to mess with that in case we make things worse, because her eyes are very delicate.
Right.
And
Right.
we never got anything back with the right eye. And the left eye just went downhill more and more. I can ask her what she can see with it. She says, I rarely use the vision. Because
Oh,
she uses everything else. So
yeah.
she does, you have to be, as a parent, you know this, right? Like, I remember my son, he's a year older, and I remember him because when they first start walking, they do this, and then they can run, and they basically run like this,
Yeah.
right? And
Yep.
you are
Yep.
just ready for them to
Yeah.
fall. And I would get that shot of adrenaline
Right.
when they would fall, but
Right.
but it doesn't bother them. They just roll over and run again. But you have to let them live their life. You have to make sure that it's not overly. But if there's a car, she will hear it before anyone else is going to hear. So I'm not worried about cars. But
Crazy.
she can ride her bike because she knows what it's like to go from our driveway to the next door neighbor's driveway, and she'll go back and forth. But yeah,
Nice.
really interesting.
Wait.
We've had her walk around the block with her cane because she was doing that as an assignment from her orientation and mobility teacher. And we had to send a note out to the neighborhood Facebook group and said, okay, she's doing work. She's okay. You can ask her if she's okay. And if she says she's okay, then you can let her go. If she needs help, you can bring her home. She doesn't need help. Right. But
Nice.
yeah.
I just
So
real quick.
yeah.
It's not pre-recorded. I did see your question. I posted it a couple times, but I don't think I'm able to post links on Courtney's channel. So that's probably why you're not seeing the link. But if you go to Patreon and you type in Clock Spring 3D, you'll find it. But it's not pre-recorded, so someone asked if it was pre-recorded. I'm guessing because no, it's okay. I was responding in the background and realized I don't think I'm sharing that on your channel, which is fine. I just wanted to give you that heads up. And then let's see, what else do we got here? I
see Geek Toy Box. Hey, Geek Toy Box.
Yeah, yes.
Shorts.
And then JC Production, I would love to speak with you because of the National Federation of the Blind. I want to showcase stuff with 3D printing and tactile arts. Ooh. And I think this would be great to work together. So I imagine reach out to
Let's see. JC, I think JC is in the asylum. If you are in the chat, I thought you were. Can you send an email, or can you guys get in contact? That would be great. So it will be Asylum Life, or I think it will be Asylum Life Makes or something with Asylum. He is my producer, and let me tell you something. He is amazing. I have awesome. My 3D printing life is like, actually, it just gets overwhelming, and it's very bizarre because you're doing 1 minute of content a day, and you think that can't be that complicated. But when you get to having like, and I mean, because you were running 2 channels, right? And you were doing all kinds of stuff. It just gets it gets complicated.
Yeah. Well, and I was trying to do, in the beginning of the year, I was doing a short a day plus long form once a week. Yeah. And that wore out real quick because you're always planning for your videos. And then the shorts, you have to consistently be printing or doing a project to film that short, right? So like every single day. And like Ben, I have no idea how he does that.
Oh, I know.
Like you, I mean, you guys come up with the stuff like this, but I still work full time at a hospital. So it's a little bit more tough, but no, you guys do an amazing job, and we'll have to talk offline about producer. I need to know.
Oh yeah.
But
let's talk.
What else we got? Let's see. So get in touch with JC Productions, or get in touch with Courtney is what I'm trying to say.
Well, actually, JC. Okay, so JC, I'm calling it. That is, let's go with his name that he would be on here would be Asylum. If he's not in here, then I will absolutely stay here because I want to actually, you know what? Send an email to info@ Can I type in? I can type in here.
Yeah, you
Okay,
can type
hold
it.
on. I can
Mhm,
type in here. Send an email to info. Oh, I have a Band-Aid on. Info at at filamentstories.com. Because absolutely.
So Sean says, I was born legally blind and appreciate your method of not being overbearing when raising a blind child. So that's pretty awesome.
It is something that you find we are okay with it. And I think some of that is, and thank you so much, because that is something that I think you have to let your child, oh, there's JC is here. You have to let your child live their life, right? You have to do it. And so some of it, we had the best next door neighbors. And I remember I was standing there talking to Stephen, and she had some more residual vision than she does now, but she was riding her bike and going back and forth. And I said, oh, Stephen, I got to go inside. She's going to fall and I don't want to see it. And then he said, she won't see it either. Oh, that's okay. She won't see it either. And he like hit me on the shoulder and tapped me on the shoulder. And I like busted out laughing. And he thought about it later, and he messaged me and he was like, I am so sorry. I hope I didn't offend you. And I'm like, are you kidding? That was like, great. It's like, we have to be able to cope with things. But she gets very frustrated because if we are somewhere, a parent that she's with other parents, they won't let her do something. They won't let her do something. And the reason they won't let her do it, and I said, you have to understand that as a parent, because you went to the pool with a neighbor and their child. And that's always something, are you okay taking a blind child to the pool when there is a lot of danger and hazard, hard surfaces, fall over, hit your head? It's a very scary thing as a parent to take a blind child to the pool when you have no idea, because they're relatively new neighbors, what to do. And so I said to Greg, are you okay? And he said, yes, I can. I said, if you don't feel comfortable, let me know. I'll come over. He said, okay. So, but I said to Reese, as a parent, we are very worried because we are responsible for you as a child. And they cannot imagine what you are doing. They don't understand it because they have never spent any time blind. It's still hard for your dad and me, but we know you. And so we know your capabilities, but they're just trying to keep you safe. That's all it is. But it does make her frustrated. She's like, oh, he wouldn't let me go off the diving board.
I'm not gonna lie, I'd be scared too in that situation.
It's true.
We do have a couple more questions, maybe not on that topic, but off topic. Has Courtney heard about the filament color databases? That's what Marcus was asking you. Yes.
Yes. Right. Okay, so filamentcolors.xyz. Yes. In fact, Joe, the filament librarian, is a wonderful person. And isn't he great? So I found out about him a long time ago and was so excited to meet up with him. And he and I chat from time to time. He was not at RMurf, but he sent his stickers, which was really great. And I keep meaning to message him because I said, hey, come over. We don't have much. We'll have stickers. And we had stickers and some stuff, but that was basically it. And we were just getting a chance to talk to people. But we were like, here are stickers from the filament librarian. Do you know about the filament library? And I was like, Joe, this is great. We gave out about 1,000 of his stickers and he sent like 3,000. He wanted to make sure we had enough, but I have them. I'm going to bring them to Murph. I'm going to bring them to Earth. And I think having those, but he's done such a great job because he has like 1,200 filaments in there now. And the thing that he's added in recently is you can go in there and you can add an RGB color or there are different ways. If you go in there and search, you can search for, if you have I look super smart. Somebody was like, hey, my mother works for BLU, the company that does the e-cigarettes. And I want to find a filament that matches that. Do you know of any? And I was like, filamentcolors.xyz. And I got the logo and I grabbed it and I'm putting it over here. And I was like, well, here are 3 that are close to me. Like, you're amazing. And I'm like, okay, I can't take credit for it. But that is a feature that he's added relatively recently. But he's a great guy. He's got a regular job and he also has a Patreon to support that filamentcolors.xyz. And it's one of the ones my husband's hopefully not listening because I have a problem with Patreon. I love Patreon. I love supporting people. And when somebody was like, how much is your Patreon bill per month? I was like, I don't know. And then didn't let him have the login information for a while. So, but he does such a great job, but I know he is about 500 swatches behind because
Whoa.
a lot of people brought him stuff at Earth. I think I brought him over 100 at Earth.
Oh, wow.
And yeah, and so people have he says I can even pay for shipping if you look on there. I would love to have if you see that there's stuff that I don't have. If you are thinking of mailing him a bunch of stuff, let me know. I need to put message me on one of the platforms because he has a second link that is a list of the database of everything that he has acquired. Because in order to
Nice.
put it up, he does this very, very precise. Well, he does it with swatch, and then he has a very precise color matching so that he gets the color
Oh,
truly.
that's
correct.
awesome.
Yeah.
So I
anyway,
just
so
posted
yes,
the
you got it?
filamentcolors.xyz
Yeah.
in there. And then also there's somebody, let's see, here we go. I lost my sight when I was 16, 11 years ago. I work as an engineer now. I was able to get to where I am because my parent did not enable me. She was really happy to hear about your approach.
Yes.
So that's awesome.
I'm really I'm really happy to hear that too, because I think that I tell people, hopefully my son's not listening, but I tell people that my daughter is going to, as soon as she goes to college, she's going to be gone, right? I am not worried about my son may find out that, being a gamer and viewing YouTube is not a viable career, but she has so many things that she wants to do. She right now wants to have a pet store but not just a standard pet store. She wants to educate people about different animals, which is why Jim, right before my daughter came downstairs with our guinea pigs, and you were telling her about the pets you have, and she I think she thought she needed to get out of the room. And then I was like, they have sugar gliders. They have sugar. Anyway, so I need to tell her about them. I would love for her to feel them. But so something that is, and I was in a live stream last night and we got a little bit I'm like, are we all adults here? Because there are things in life that as much as you think she might know about, she may not. Like one day I said to her, did you know that there are things on top of the different pieces of furniture in the house? And she said, no. And I said, well, let's go, because she doesn't want to knock anything off. So we went into the dining room, and in the dining room, there's like, what do you call it? The buffet or whatever, the thing that has all the, stuff in it. And I said, let's look at what's on top of it. And she felt very carefully, because there's delicate things. She had no idea in her mind there was an area to avoid.
Really?
Right. And I thought, how many other things in this house? Because she can run through the house. You would never know she's blind in this house because she's mentally mapped the whole thing.
Right.
But how many areas does she not know that something exists because she's just, hi, Lisa.
Thank you for popping in.
Yay. Oh, thank you so much. I have got to do a reply video because the amount of response and support that we have gotten from that video has been so amazing. I would tell you that I sat there and cried. I was so happy, but then I would so let's just pretend like, okay, I did. Right. But I was sitting there and watching, and the number of people that were saying this, is close to me either personally, or I know someone, or I'm so glad to, that you are involved in this, because my daughter said, I want to see if I can be involved in the community more, because she's now 11 and she wants to be. And I was like, this is great. So cool. I am really excited.
I can't wait to see more. And the videos, they're going to be so much fun. If you want to check them out and you haven't seen this yet, jump on. Is it going to be across everywhere or just on your YouTube?
Wait, which one? Hers? Oh, her video is short. It'll be on everywhere. The short. Nice. Yeah, it's going to be short tomorrow. It's going to be my daughter again. She was just like, here, and I'll do a video. And we were like, sure. Because for a while, and my husband said, there is with YouTube and anything with social media, you always wonder, is it safe to do things? But how many people do I know that are 3D printing people, that their channel is their name, Thompson Latterer, right? Chris Riley, so many people, it goes on and on. And so when Joel we did a video with him 2 Novembers ago, or December. Yeah. And he said, Chris and Courtney Blum. Chris was like, oh, they said our last name. And I'm like, hon, we're going to have to get over that, because nobody's going to call me Filament Stories. And so, it's okay. But it was one of those things. I am very proud to have her come on because she wants to be involved, right?
Right. That's so cool. Well,
yeah.
we are running way behind, but I have
no.
a few hot makes I want to check out.
Oh yes, hot makes.
We'll kind of rock through them, and then and we'll get rocking. No, you're fine. I love the conversation, and this is the best balance with Caleb because he usually keeps me on track, and then I'm just like, let's throw it out the window and let's talk.
Know.
But let's do some hot makes. Here we go.
Hot makes.
All right, so let's not spill the water. I didn't spill the water that time. First one comes to us from Tom Lama. He says, "Oh, that's a hot mix." So this is the most satisfying ring I've ever made. Now, this is someone called Modern Deal Official. Not sure who they are or what they do, but I can tell you what. I watched this. It's only 30 seconds long, and it is ridiculous. What? Yeah. It's all, I mean, like handmade, and all the gears are put together. Oh man, this thing is sick. Just like all the moving parts. Look at that.
Oh, that's amazing. Oh, and diamonds in the gears.
As somebody you know, in the maker community and 3D printing community, that is phenomenal.
That is.
I absolutely love that. Nice work.
I have to give that 5 out of 5 hot makes fire trucks because
there you go. Yes, that's what we need. How many hot makes fire trucks?
How many hot makes fire trucks?
Look at this. That was a 5 out of 5. It's a clock spring ring. Yes. There you go. Let's see. Okay. Next, yes. Marcus says, if you let us, we talk about our kids all day. Absolutely, we would. All right, Chris Travis, the Securo box by Clockspring. I didn't even know Clockspring was going to be, you know, in the chat or anything tonight either. I of course, it is very uncommon to find a hot mix where we didn't feature a Clockspring print. I'm just going to throw it out there because so many people love it. All right, this is also in yellow. Yes, for the yellow. All right, Chris Travis, this is the Securo box, and let's check it out. There you go. And there you go. Nice work. Looks like it was printed on the Prusa in the Jesse Yellow Bird. Loving it. That's one I haven't printed yet. I should. I like those boxes. I
love boxes.
Zombie Hedgehog. Who's that anyway? Yeah. I don't even know who that is. Speaking of that, he's right there. There you go. Printed a few birdhouse feeders for Mother's Day gifts. A huge hit, printed with a UV resistant Polymaker 3D Polyterra, and is a good use of the Easter pack colors. Check that out. Gorgeous, by the way.
Oh, that is, that's, wow. See, now that's good stuff. I just like send it to the print. Wow, that's really nice.
Nice. These are really cool looking. I mean, do they use the front door? Do they just, you know, open it up and walk right in, Austin? I love these. These are awesome. Is the link in here? I might need to print some of these. Where did you find these? There's another one. There you go. There's the printables link. Boom. Thank you. Now I'm going to have to come back and check out that printables link because those are pretty cool. Bird feeders. All right. Next, Joe Mike. Reason 900 or 9,567 that I love having a 3D printer. I can make crap like this. Hashtag hotmakes. And here you go. This is a drawer, or more like a slide for a laptop under a desk. So you can connect, you know, basically push it in and it sits right underneath your desk and docks in. I love that. Functional printing. Boom.
Wow.
So he made it so he can push it right in. It docks automatically, it looks like, and then it has a little eject there. There's the mechanism. So the cable must be USB-C is sitting back up in here. And when he slides it in, it's lined up where it hits that USB-C slot. Super cool. Nice work. Oh, there's your little eject. That's cool. I didn't see that on the first time I looked through these. That's a cool idea. Nice work. If only the diamonds were hexagonally cut. Yes.
Yes.
um, next, Mars Gizmo. Speaking of Mars
Yeah.
Gizmo,
This thing is just sick. Oh,
yes.
man.
After many years of trying a ton of gear, I finally designed my own filament cart, which checks all of my needs. So there is a YouTube video on this, but I wanted to show, basically show the picture here. This thing is pretty awesome. He's got everything he needs right built in there. A couple of Black Magic devices with the A10 Mini and the board there for audio.
He is very good at being very, and I love that video because he shows mistakes, right? He was like,
yeah,
and then he was like, that didn't work, but yeah.
If you have a minute, go check this out because this cart is super cool.
It is. That might have to be 6 out of 5 HotMakes fire
there
trucks.
You go. 6 out of 5 HotMakes. I think we're gonna have to start doing that. Like, how many fire trucks is it? Like, vote in the comments for the next couple. How many HotMakes fire trucks it is, and then like ladder extended or no.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. Is it? Oh, that might be better. Yeah.
A half extension or a full extension. Is it? The cart is the size of my studio. Zombie Hedgehog says. All right, here we go. Next up, hey, fix 'em, dude. Happy birthday, by the way. So I was at work and I printed this little fix 'em, dude sign. I don't know what you call this thing. Anyways, I printed that and then I had to take this quick because I wanted to make sure I got the fix 'em, dude happy birthday out there. But happy birthday. I hope all the best. I know. Whose else birthday was it today? Earlier, we talked about somebody's birthday. Now I'm going to forget because we've moved on from. But happy birthday! I know somebody else's birthday.
It was Josh's, right? No.
I don't remember.
Shoot.
Yes. Oh, it's the Bugman kit card. Yes. There you go.
Oh, yeah.
Also, speaking of fix 'em, dude, Michael Grugel, $10 on the PayPal's for the Dry Mouse Fund. And Dennis Crawford, thank you so much. No Oreos, no water. $10. I saw those. That's funny. But happy birthday. I don't want to like my own.
I totally missed Fix 'em Dude's birthday. I actually printed the Calla Lily, which actually is a lovely model. And then the day passed, and I didn't send him. So belated happy birthday.
There it is. That is
a pretty model. Yeah.
Next, Kit KMT82 Design or KMT82 Design. Now, Kit tagged like 15 of these. I couldn't show them all, but I wanted to show at least one. 3D printed action figures. I think Kit is coming up with these, like making them themselves, and it's super cool design. Let's see if I can throw up this. It's a pretty fun mech, and nice work. So I know you had a lot of them. You tagged a lot of them. I couldn't show them all, but this one I really liked.
I'm having a hard time. I want to give them all a lot of HotMakes fire trucks because these are so good.
Yes. Justin, that's right. I'm sorry, Justin. Happy birthday, Justin. Yes, that's right.
How did I forget that?
I don't know. That's like my wife says my brain, my ADD brain is like a whiteboard, right? So I write all over it and then gone. It's done. It's over. And then I write something else.
Totally understand that.
Yeah, I agree. I love seeing Courtney's joy and happiness. Keep going. Yes. All right, Chris Travis. This is a Halo Master Chief. This is in this beautiful model by the way. Polymaker Sparkle Green and PLA and Strytech Fast Resin. So let's pop this bad boy. Ooh. There we go.
Oh, that's big.
Polymaker, yeah. And then boom.
Oh wow.
Got the head on the inside.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's kind of creepy. I'm not gonna lie. I feel like it's so good, and that resin is watching me.
Yeah.
But very nice work there, Chris. Man,
I do feel safer with the helmet on. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, so good. All right, nice work, Chris. And you get. We should start doing that. Like, I should start posting like thanks for the post. You get four fire trucks or something. You know, people will be like, what are you talking about?
Where are the fire trucks? Speaking of, here, wait, I'm going to put
Sid
it in
is
the
phenomenal,
chat.
by the way. Yes.
There is now, it's on My Manufactory, but I just put a link that should work. I hope I didn't get the whole thing, but there's it's on printables. I think it's on.
Boom.
Did I get it? I might have gotten it. It's on My Manufactory. I'll copy that link. And let's see. Anyway, so I just interrupted your hot making.
No, jump in
there.
But
let's go. We got to get some fire trucks. Okay, that one, I think. See if that works. I may have messed up the other one. Carry on with the next one.
Let's see if I type in clock spring on printables.
No, it's HotMakes. Yeah.
Oh.
No, go ahead. You're right. See if you can get it. If you go clock spring on printables, it should pop up.
I see the tortured toaster. I mean, like, very cool design. I just want to throw it out there.
I'm clicking the link.
Clock spring. Sven, have a great one. Thank you for jumping in. He says, I got to jump off. So, hey, have a go on. We'll talk soon. We'll have to get you back on soon.
Thank you. Hey, thanks for making this so much fun. All right, Clock Spring, check you later.
I was the first download on printables, printing on MakerDeck. Now I better check. I wonder what I did. Nice work, Liz. Thank you. And Sid is phenomenal at modeling. Yes. Okay, next. Last but not least, this is ridiculous. This is horn and road art. If you know this is fabric, it says it looks pretty good. But if you don't, it's hard to tell. I think the square edges are a problem. All printed with only layer swaps. So check this out. Let's see if I can.
I'm about to get closer to the. Oh, wow. Whoa. Yeah. That's not what I thought it was going to be. Oh, my gosh. Yeah. That's so cool.
Is that absolutely ridiculous or what?
Yeah, it looks like he's holding just a nice
picture up or something. I'm not even sure what I thought it was when I saw it. I was just like, oh, he's holding like some sort of picture. But this is done with filament swaps. Like, what? I can't even.
Wow.
I can't even.
I'm going to have to give this one another 5 out of 5. I'm just so impressed. I see this every time I watch these hot makes. There's so many people doing absolutely astoundingly beautiful or complex or just interesting things. I love it.
So someone asked him to explain. Said, sure, let me show you how Hue Forge saw it. I'm not sure what that means, what Hue Forge is. I'm going to have to look this up. Source image on the right, generating a model with files or with swaps. I'm sorry. Let's see. Source image is on the right. Generated file with swallow. I'm thinking they mean on the left. Either way, black is treated as 0 height or transparent. Sliders at the bottom have colors and layers or millimeter values. What?
That may have been over my head.
I need time to process. I think my brain just broke. And then I call it Hue Forge. It's an application I wrote to calculate filament blending.
Forge. HUE is calculating the huge, and it's forging. I mean, I would love to. I will stand there and swap the filament in order to do that. What? By the way, I did want to say something also as we're sitting here talking, and I realize we have some visually impaired people that are in this live stream. And one of the things that I also forget is that sometimes using descriptive words about what we're seeing is really helpful. And speaking of Joe, the filament librarian, he has a whole other group he runs called Transcribers of Reddit. And if you've never heard of it, it's really neat. It's people, there's like, I don't know, several thousand people on Transcribers of Reddit. And if someone who maybe they're visually impaired, or maybe they have some reason that they can't, it could be color blindness, and they need some piece of media written out in descriptive words, or just written out in any way. So they put a request in, and these Transcribers of Reddit, thousands and thousands of pages. And I need to get more involved in it, but that is another thing that he does. And it's a really great thing. And he just gives his time to do it.
That is amazing. He just donates his time to do it. Whoa.
He's such a cool guy.
Well, until you said that, I didn't think about that. So I apologize if we have not been describing things, especially if you're watching and you can't literally watch. because we're over here going, wow, this is amazing. But
Doesn't
I
that
took for
look
granted the
great?
fact
Yeah.
that when you're listening, much like a podcast or a radio, you can't see what's going on. So I don't
I
even,
think
how do you,
we're all guilty of that though,
yeah.
because
Yeah.
right, we're all guilty of it, and it's not, so it's something that you raise the awareness of. The other thing is when Reese was first blind, I was afraid I could use the words see and look, right? But they are words that we use to indicate understanding and awareness, and so we just all
Right.
she uses the word still, but still you can say this looks like a piece of beautifully flowing material in blue. And then he rotates it and it is almost entirely flat, like what, 2 millimeters thick?
Yeah, it's very,
And it
very
is a
thin.
complete optical illusion that he's done using a way to layer. I don't know if it's just blue and white or if it's blue and then multiple blues. I'm not sure. But I would love, if he's got an example like the Full Control XYZ, I would be all over this.
You did a phenomenal job describing that, by the way. I did put in the chat, I typed the link and I just threw it in our private chat too, so you can come back to it if you want to snag it.
Okay, cool.
But that is something that we need to see. But that was our HotMakes. I know we're running way behind, but thank you, everybody who submitted HotMakes. Don't forget, if you want to see something on the show or you want to show us something pointed out, whatever it is, hit us up. Go to, I am really trying to find the banner. Welcome. Is it this? It's not that one. It's not that one. I'm trying to find the ticker that ticks that shows here. There you go. Find anything out there on the Twitters or whatever and hashtag HotMakes, and it shoots up right to us automatically, especially on Twitter. And then we will show it on Mondays. We're here at 6 p.m. Central every Monday, and we have some really cool stuff. Courtney, I know we're going long, but hopefully that's okay with you.
Here.
And
if it goes too long, then I don't have to put the kids to bed. But actually, that is not. You know what? My kids said that years ago, but now they're older, and they're like, "No, I'm going to stay up till 10." Like,
right. Well, I tell you, I have something coming up, but
yes.
Before we get going, one more time, let's go through like who you are, what do you do, and most of all, where can we find your awesome work?
Okay, so I am Courtney Blum. I am Filament Stories. I'm one half. The other half that does the hardcore work is my husband, Chris, and he's somewhere, but he got this set up and he's getting dinner for the children. So I love filament. I mean, every filament has a story, and my goal is to take all the beautiful filaments that I can get my hands on and try to show them in print and up close, so that as a person who might be interested in buying filament or becoming addicted to it like I am, then you could say, oh, that's something I want to look at. So I just love doing that. And I have the great good fortune at this point, we just sort of did it for a while, and companies are now interested in working with us, which is fun because we find out about stuff in advance and whatnot. Yeah, but I do want to say something. I did post the link to the non-torturous fire truck, and it's on. You can find it on My Manufactory. Yeah, but it is free to download, so please download it, and hopefully your children and friends will enjoy it. But I am really excited that Juan Carlos, he said this is JC Productions, and we're going to get in contact absolutely afterwards. But it is. He said he wants to collaborate with people who are doing 3D printing, and we've got 3D printing, right? How can we collaborate? Because it's such a great tool. For people. And I will tell you a secret that I cannot really share, but my daughter wants to have children like coloring books, right?
Right.
Well, if you can't feel, if it's just a piece of paper, but you have to stand in front of the printer because it's want to be safe. But if I put a piece of cardstock down and I can actually print on the thing, and so she's like, make me more coloring book. But it's really tough. There's not, there's not a lot of blind people. So finding resources, there are a million coloring books, but there's only 2 that we found for blind children. And so she did them. She's done. I need more. Right. And so just interesting ways to use 3D printing, but I don't really want to put a video out and that says, okay, guys, put a piece of paper on this thing that has really hot nozzle and then just start print and walk away. Right. But yeah, we've come up with interesting ways to do things. So I absolutely would like to collaborate with people. This is exciting for me. I've been wanting to talk about it. So Jim,
Well,
thank you
we
for
definitely
having me.
appreciate it. And
Yeah.
I love your stuff. Check out Filament Stories pretty much everywhere. You can just find them. There's links in the description of the video. Asylum Life, talk about Sunday night. That's
Sunday night. Oh,
yeah.
Asylum. He's always so good. So Asylum and I have a thing. We're calling it Sliced because it's just, we're going to look through. I mean, just take a deeper look into filament and things related to filament in the industry. And it is going to be on my YouTube channel. And I think we're going to have a couple, we're going to do a couple like here.
Sure.
And Asylum Life will have that. And we're going to talk. Is it 8? What time is it, Asylum? Can you say what time it is? I forgot. I can't remember if it's 8, 6. In any case, he'll put that down there and I'll put another video up there. Yeah, because that was a lot of fun. We found out that the first time, Jim, we just went on for 3 hours. And so the second time we're like, we're going to have an agenda, which is fine, but you have to stay to the agenda.
Yeah.
Right? And so this time we're going to stay to the agenda.
I feel that. I feel that in my soul, I think. But no, I really appreciate it. And it's super cool. It was awesome to meet you in person. And I'm glad that I know Caleb reached out and said, hey, let's get you on. And I'm sorry Caleb couldn't be here, but he did really want to be here. And hopefully he can join us and we can do it again. 8 p.m. Eastern. 8 p.m. Eastern.
Okay, good. Yeah. Good. Oh, I know. So let me ask you a quick question. Are you guys going to be at Murph?
I should be at Murph. Yep.
Okay, so we're going to be at Murph and Earth Clock Spring. If you like his stuff, not like we haven't talked about him a lot, he's coming to Earth.
Sven is coming to Earth. I love it.
He's coming to Earth.
I love it. I should be at Earth too. And then I don't know about Smurf.
Smurf's the tricky one.
Yeah, that's the tricky one. But yeah, Murph in 32 days. Liz is reminding us. Oh my gosh, that is only 32 days away. Wow, 32 days. Also, and I should be at Earth as well. So yeah, I can't wait. I think I'm having a table. I think we have a table at Murph. I can't remember. I think so.
Murph is a tricky one. Don't you have to dive in and grab onto your table?
Sometimes, yeah.
Sometimes?
I mean, it's like the Wild West of 3D printing shows. So there's that. Every 4th Sunday at 8 p.m. Eastern. That's what.
There we go.
There we go. Real quick, next week. I do not know if we have a show yet. It's on hold according to my notes. I'm not sure if Caleb found yes or no if the person was available. So we're going to pause that. I'm not sure, but we'll announce that soon. June 5th, Alpha to Zeta Industries. They were at Remurf. They had the really sweet prop, giant prop weapons and stuff like that.
Yes, that would be cool.
Let's see what else we got. 19th, Studley Avocado. Will be on, and not the little one, the Studley one, of course.
The Studley one.
June 26th, we're going to talk about that one because that's the Monday after Murph, and I'm not sure we're all going to be home yet, but that's supposed to be Retro Maker, but we might push Retro Maker back one. And then Photos Mint soon. We have a soon.
Photos.
So scheduling and process. Again, Caleb wasn't here, so I don't know if he updated this or not, but soon. So that's what's coming up. Hashtag HotMakes on all of the things, and we'll mostly Twitter, but we'll find
mostly
you.
Twitter.
And check out
download and print your fire trucks.
Yes. So if you're still with us, we got almost 90 people still here. Print the fire truck, find a Clock Spring fire truck. What was it called? What did they call it? What do you call it?
Yeah, it's hold on. What?
And if you do, find us on Twitter, tag us at hashtag HotMakes, and we're gonna display every fire truck shown next week. That could be a day. It could come back and get me, but we're doing it. We're gonna display every fire truck shown.
It has a short name. It's called the Flippy Ladder Fire Truck, Filament Stories and HotMakes.
The Flippy Ladder Fire Truck, Filament Stories
and HotMakes. And I'm just looking at it on printables, but yeah.
And
it has a kickstand, and the ladder is all down, and it's compact. And if you lift the ladder up because you need to save somebody that's tall and up there on that second story, you have to kick. There's a little kickstand right here.
Love it.
And you do that, and then you can safely climb up and save the day. And it's got HotMakes logo right in here.
Yeah.
Actually, he was this morning. He said, because I was doing stuff, and he told me, he said, I spent a half an hour trying to rasterize your logo, because I had said, here's the logo and everything. And he said, And then I remembered it was on the torture toaster and he
Yeah.
scrapped it.
He still has it on the
Yeah.
torture toast. Well, and then don't forget on the back.
That's
Come
right.
on, Filament Stories on the back. And then
underneath.
holding up the fort, we'll call it,
Holding up the fort.
it starts at the bottom. But well, everybody, thank you so much for being here. Courtney, hang
Thank
out
you,
right there. I'll be
guys.
right back with you. But everybody else, you guys rock. Every Monday at 6 p.m. we'll be here on HotMakes. And again, Courtney, thank you so much for being here. We appreciate it. We are super fine. You're welcome back anytime. The energy was amazing. People in the chat all night were commenting about they need to catch their breath because your energy is so awesome. So thank you so much for that.
No, hey, you the same thing. I told people, I'm like, I don't know how you did it at Armor. I don't know how you did it. You had so much energy. You're amazing too. So anyway.
That is a good question. I'm not sure how I did it either. I had like 50% voice when we were done, I'd call it, which was fun. It was so much fun though. It was a lot of fun. So everybody,
thank you, everybody.
Yeah. Thank you guys. We will see you next week right here on HotMakes. Bye, everybody.
Bye.